Hey there, and welcome to From 9 to Thrive. I'm Michele O'Connor, your guide on this fun and slightly rebellious journey to escape the 9 to 5 grind and build a life you actually love. Whether you're stuck in a cubicle dreaming of freedom, running a side hustle, or just wondering if there's more to life than Zoom meetings and office coffee, this podcast is for you. Each week, we'll dive into tips, strategies, and real life stories to help you leave the grind behind and create a business that works for you, not the other way around. And because we don't take ourselves too seriously around here, expect a few laughs along the way. Oh, and every now and then we'll bring on some inspiring guests who've been there, done that, and are here to share their secrets to success. So grab your coffee, your wine, or whatever fuels your fire. This is From 9 to Thrive, where we're ditching the grind and designing the dream. Let's get started. Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Thriving Tuesday. Today, we're tackling something that could potentially flip the way you approach problem solving, design thinking. Whether you're juggling a 9 to 5, running your side hustle, or brainstorming your next big thing, this mindset can unlock creativity and solutions you didn't even know were possible. Intrigued? Good, because we're about to dig into how this framework works, why it matters, and how you can use it to fuel your personal and professional breakthroughs. Buckle up. It's time to thrive.
Morning, everybody. This is Michele with From 9 to Thrive, and it is Thriving Tuesday. I hope you guys had a great weekend. If you were able to enjoy a long 3-day weekend, I hope you were able to get everything that you wanted done. And now we're back into the grind. And I got to thinking, when we start to solve problems, when we start to come up with ideas for our businesses, we always seem to fall to and default to the product and not necessarily the solution. What I thought I would do today is let's delve into unlocking innovative solutions with the design thinking mindset. And I know that's a lot, but it's important for us to sometimes step back and rethink how we solve a problem. So we're going to use, you're probably here, or you're thinking about a side hustle, or you have one going, and you're looking for a new ways to solve challenges or create innovative solutions in your personal life, in your professional career, or for your business. And that's what we're going to dive into today, is that design thinking mindset. And what it is, why it's important, and how you can use it to create better outcomes and break through ideas for your business or your side hustle. It'll open up your mind. Trust me, it really will. And so why does this topic matter? Well, how are we going to thrive? How are we going to get better? The world is full of complex problems, and traditional approaches sometimes just don't cut it. Design thinking gives us a human-centered approach to think creatively and find better solutions. So what's the challenge you've been struggling with? Let me know. Reach out, say, hey, Michele, this is what I've been struggling with. I was first exposed to design thinking by Brad Smith, who used to be with Intuit and now is the president of Marshall University. He talks about how he instituted it in Intuit, how he brought that mindset into his company, and the ability of the company to grow, create these amazing ideas because they stepped back. And as Brad Smith always says, don't fall in love with the solution. And that's what we have a tendency to do as humans when we're in our business, when we're trying to solve something. We fall in love with the solution that this is the only way that this problem can be solved. No, we're going to step back and we're going to approach it with design thinking. So what is design thinking? It's a problem-solving framework that focuses on understanding the needs of people, brainstorming creative solutions, and testing them to find the best way forward. So it's not just for designers, it's for anyone who wants to approach challenges in an innovative way and use this design thinking to come up with innovative ways to solve a problem. At its core, it's about having a beginner's mind, looking at the problems with new perspective and staying open to alternative approaches. When we invite others to look at our website or to look over our social media strategy or use our product or test run our service, that is a beginner's mind looking at what we're doing. And we need to be very open to their concept and their ideas of how to make it better. Not that we're doing it wrong, but there might be a better approach, an alternative approach. So this emphasizes creative confidence, creative thinking, and a diverse perspective. It's not always just one way. It's multiple ways to do things. I'm going to give you an example of how this works. The Wright brothers didn't just try to build an airplane. They studied how birds flew, and then they designed their early models after that. So they came in with that design mindset. Companies like Apple and Airbnb use design thinking to create a better customer experience. It's not just having you buy an iPhone or an iMac or anything that you want and desire out of the Apple Store. It's about approaching it with a great customer and awesome customer experience. Airbnb isn't just letting you rent a place for several nights. It's the experience that you're getting. There are 5 steps to the design thinking process. Step number 1, emphasize, understand the needs of people. This is about stepping into the shoes of your customers or end users and asking, what do they need? What are their pain points? You're going to do user research, interviews, and observation. There's a system out there called iCore. And if you're able to be part of an iCore class or be part of an iCore cohort, that's how they approach this. They use design thinking mindset approaches in how they teach their classes. So you are forced to go interview people without telling them what your product is. You can't sell them on your product or service. You simply interview people about the problem and ask about how they would fix it and how they would approach it. So that when you're designing your product or service, it already has a built-in customer base because you have tested it. And so instead of going out and interviewing people about this awesome product that you have or this great service, you are then getting a solution solved, a solution to a problem that people are going to want to use and embrace. Here's another example. Imagine you're designing a coffee cup. You observe how people hold it, how they drink from it, and how they clean it so that you can design a better coffee cup. Step number 2, we're going to reframe the problem. First one is emphasize. Second is define. We're going to reframe the problem. Once you understand the user's redefine the challenge in clear terms. Instead of asking, how do I make a cheaper coffee cup? You ask, how do I make a coffee cup that keeps coffee hot longer? We're focusing on the heart of the design challenge here, not the product. Step number 3, ideate. Generate new ideas. This is where the magic happens. You brainstorm creative ideas without judgment. Quantity over quality at first. No matter how silly, if it bends the laws of physics, I don't care. I want it up on the board, on the whiteboard, on a piece of paper. I want all of these ideas put down. And then you're going to do divergent thinking and radical collaboration, meaning you are going to then take these ideas and brainstorm, and you're going to riff off each other. If you're doing it in a group, you're going to riff off the ideas that you are brainstorming and putting down on this paper. And then you're going to collaborate like you've never done before. How can this idea pair with that idea? Oh, maybe if these two mesh together, then I can make that coffee cup not only functional and keep the coffee hot longer, but it's going to be beautiful. just putting together those ideas. In a design sprint, let's say you've got a group of people together in a room and you're collaborating. So you have a design sprint. A team might generate 100 ideas, then narrow them down to the top 3. And that's what I want you to do. Even if you're not in a team on doing this collaboratively, you're doing it with yourself. Brainstorm, throw all those ideas out on a piece of paper and then whittle them down to maybe the top 3. So step number 4 now is prototype. Create early stage models. Build quick, low-cost versions of your solution to test it out. You don't need to go for the Tiffany box, for the packaging and all of that. What I want you to do is figure out how to make your product or service at the lowest cost possible so that you can test it. And then you're going to get the feedback. And from that feedback of your users, you're then going to create it in a different manner. Maybe it doesn't work. Maybe you need to do something else different. But you haven't spent a whole lot of money or time invested in that first prototype. If you're creating a website, sketch wireframes or build a clickable demo instead of the full site. Whenever I work with a website designer, I have ideas, so I sketch it out. We sit down together and I say, okay, this is what I'm thinking. And then they take that idea and they can then mock it up, much like they do for apps and anything like that. They can show you a static mock-up of, okay, is this what you're thinking? And then we can go from there. It's not completely building out the full website and then me going, you know what, I really don't like the way this looks or that looks. We've already had it mocked up and then they build it. Step number 5, test. Try it out and iterate. So you're going to gather that feedback from your real users and then you're going to refine your solution. What did they tell you that they liked? What did they tell you they didn't like? How can you fix that? How can you address that? Embrace the failure as a learning opportunity. They're not being critical of you. They're just saying, hey, I would think this coffee cup would be better if it had X. So it's a way to get feedback on that. Let's say you run a cupcake business and you're testing out 3 new frosting flavors before you launch the most popular one. It's not that they don't like the other 2. You're just figuring out which one do they like the best. And then maybe you bring back the other 2 in another test, and maybe it's the time of year, maybe it's something that they'll never like. So you go on with that thought. So those are the 5 steps to design and design thinking. Why is this mindset so powerful? Well, first of all, it solves wicked problems by focusing on the human needs. It's taking in that concept of how to make something better that solves a problem that an actual human has. It encourages us to get into cross-functional teams to bring in diverse perspectives. You are going to not only bring in the designers of the coffee cup, but you're going to bring in the users of the coffee cup. You're going to bring in the marketers. You're going to bring in the salespeople. And all of these people sitting around a table are going to have a different perspective of how to make that coffee cup functional. And then you build on all of that because all of their feedback and all of their ideas are going to help make your product or service better. This mindset also helps business leaders achieve better outcomes by focusing on the end user. Again, don't fall in love with the solution. Fall in love with the problem and figure out how to solve the problem. There's lots of people who use it. Like I said, Brad Smith brought it into Marshall University. Stanford University teaches it as well. Tim Brown is a pioneer in design thinking, and he describes it as a way to tackle challenges with creativity and empathy. You're being creative. You're empathizing with your user. And again, companies like Google, IBM, and IDEO use design thinking for product development and digital transformation of the ideas that they're putting out there. You can see companies who focus on that design thinking, and you probably didn't even realize that that's what they were doing. So how do you get started in putting this into practice and using it in your own place? It takes a little bit of a shift, because again, you're not falling in love with the solution, you're falling in love with the problem. So adopt the right mindset. Let go of the fixed mindset and embrace a growth mindset. We're not static. We're always growing. We're always evolving, and see every challenge as an opportunity to learn. Ask the right questions. Be curious. As Ted Lasso said, just be curious. Don't be judgmental. Be curious. Here's some practical steps that you can use to take with you. Identify one problem you want to solve. Talk to 3 people who are affected by the problem to gather inspiration. Then brainstorm creative ideas without self-judgment. Create a quick prototype, a drawing or a rough model, and then test it with real users. And then I iterate if it needs to be changed. You can start with Idea's Designer's Toolkit if you want to get better and more ingrained in this whole mindset. There's online courses that you can take. I think Stanford still offers a free one. We've covered a lot here, and it's just the basics and just the tip of the iceberg on this design thinking mindset. It's 5 steps, and we talked about that, and how to apply it to your challenges. I want you to see about implementing this in one thing this week. Try it. Let me know if it works. Let me know how it solved that problem and made you think from a different perspective. Head over to from9tothrive.com and grab some of our other information. We have lots of tips and strategies on how to escape your 9 to 5 and build a life you absolutely love. Now, I am so glad you stopped in and joined me today on this Thriving Tuesday. And I hope that this brought some ideas of how you could possibly, maybe if you're stuck and don't know exactly how to solve something or a product to make, step back, get some creative thinking going, and think about how you can apply this design thinking mindset. And I'll bet you will be amazed at the ideas that start coming up when you apply this creative thinking. You guys have a great Tuesday. Keep on thriving. You've got this. Bye.
Well, all right, friends, that's a wrap on today's Thriving Tuesday episode. I hope this crash course in design thinking has sparked some new ideas and fresh perspectives for you. Remember, it's all about stepping back, rethinking the problem, and unlocking those innovative solutions. Give it a try this week, whether it's for your side hustle, your job, or even just your daily life. And hey, let me know, because I'd love to hear how you're doing. I'm cheering you on every step of the way. Don't forget to visit from9tothrive.com for more tips, resources, and everything to help you build a life that you love. And if you've enjoyed this episode, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all the ways we can thrive together. Until next time, keep experimenting, keep growing, and as always, keep thriving. You've got this.